Every year we do a kids show that's centered around fun projects and ideas for the little ones. So in today's show, I want to do something a little different. I'd like for you to see the show through the eyes of a child. Now, let me show you how we're going to do that. Okay, first you want to relax. Relax your shoulders. You're going to close your eyes. You're going to jump on your toes 3 times and then say, I want to be a kid again, and go through a door. Okay? Ready? Let's get started. 1, 2, 3. I want to be a kid again.
Wow, it worked! This is great! Yay! Oh, sorry, I got carried away there for a moment. All right, so today we're going to be talking about some neat ideas to do with kids. First up, we're going to the Memphis Botanical Garden, where they take their kids area seriously. Not seriously, but, you know, serious. Don't go away, it's coming right up.
David, I'm just crazy about how interactive the children's garden is. Everywhere you turn.
It's so fun. And this is actually Playhouse Lane. So you have 5 different playhouses here, created by 5 different artists, actually, local artists.
This is a xylophone bench, really? Oh yeah. Who would have known?
Absolutely.
I bet the kids love this.
They absolutely love it. They come in here and they just book it for this area. It's just so much fun. There's so many different things for them to get involved in.
Playhouse Lane. So what do we have here, David?
So this is the country house, actually, representing a little house out in the country. We have a chicken coop out back, a little.
Oh, right.
And inside the house, actually, we have a bunch of little toys that they can play house.
Oh,
so like little ketchup bottles and stuff like that.
And then look at this. What is this? It looks like a giant mushroom.
Yeah, so this is actually an old shade tree.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah,
Look at the roots. This was one that was here.
It was here, absolutely. Yeah. And so instead of trying to uproot the whole thing and get it out of here, we were like, well, why not use it and make it into a little fairy closet?
It has a door here. Oh, so this is where the fairies hang their clothes.
That's right.
Of course. And so the main fairy house is over here.
That's right. The main fairy house is over here. And you can see like designs on the top here, really colorful.
Those fairies are very creative.
They are creative.
Yeah, look at that. Amazing. And this is their house.
Yeah, and so you can see it's all these twigs and other pieces of wood that...
Oh my gosh, what fun.
Yeah, and this
May we go in?
Oh yeah,
Hello,
please.
anyone home? Anyone here?
And you can see the pieces of trunk here.
Right.
That it's almost like a little puzzle that they can put together. Which
see.
is so much fun. And yeah, so you can, and we have the little tree trunk seats here and the table.
Right, so they can play with the fairy toys.
Just such a fun little spot.
It is, and look, it's just made of all kinds of pieces of tree trunk, and you got the wood shake ceiling on it.
Yeah, you feel like you are in a very...
it's a fun enclosed space.
Yeah.
An enchanting place.
Enchanting, exactly.
Yeah, it's very
Absolutely.
good. David, this is one big birdhouse.
Yeah, that's actually situated on the base of a sequoia tree.
It's just amazing. The kids just have to love it.
Oh, absolutely. If you look down here, you can see the bird shape in these rocks.
Oh, that is amazing.
So fun.
It really is. Don't you think it's so important to inspire them and get them excited early about learning?
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
You guys have done an awesome job with this. Thank you for showing me around. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and come back anytime.
Marvelous. I'll be back for sure.
All right.
Just take a look at all of these blackberries. Can you believe it? Some people believe that these little gems don't really belong in a vegetable garden, but I have to disagree. In fact, I have several rows of them in my vegetable garden. I consider them nature's candy, a lot like cherry tomatoes or sugar snap peas. You can just go along, pick them off the vine, eat them, the ultimate healthy fast food. The good news is blackberries will grow anywhere you're growing vegetables and herbs successfully. You know, they're really not picky about the soils they grow in. That's why I love them so much. Well, then again, they do taste so good. Now, there are a couple of things you need to know if you want to raise blackberries successfully. It's all about pruning and planting. You see, you want to get these guys into the ground in the early spring and plant them in an area where you'll ultimately have some supports for them. You see, the supports simply keep the brambles more confined. It makes it easier for harvest later. Now, when it comes to spacing the plants, I planted mine about 3 feet apart. Okay, now let's talk about pruning. After you've picked all those berries and you've recovered from eating all of that blackberry cobbler, it's time to prune, prune, prune. What you want to do is you want to remove the old canes. You see these that have berries on them? You'll cut those out at the base of the plant. These primocanes will flower and produce berries next year. And so what I want to do is I want to keep these cut down. So I'm keeping these cut at about, 3.5 to 4 feet. You see, I want the plants to put all their energy into this new growth so that I have multiple stems coming off of these primocanes. The more stems, the more blooms, and then that equals more berries. So when you're planting your spring garden, make sure you include some blackberries. It's an oh so sweet idea. You know, I've said this hundreds of times, raising chickens in your backyard has tons of benefits, including teaching kids a little responsibility. My friend Jerusalem Greer's family is doing just that. It's really amazing how popular this idea of urban farming has become. Well, these are a part of an urban farming project. These, meaning these girls, 4 New Hampshire hens, are going to my friend Jerusalem. So why don't you come on inside with me? Knock, knock. Jerusalem, are you back here?
I'm here.
Hey.
Hi.
Look at what I have for you.
Aww.
Say hello to Jerusalem.
Hello, Chickie. We're very excited to have her at our little urban farm here.
Yeah, well, she's going to get along fine, I think, with the 2 girls you already have.
So I am a little concerned about bringing in new girls to the flock.
Well, these 4 have been together.
Okay.
So they'll move as a unit, and we'll see how they play out. There may be a little drama in the beginning, but hopefully all that will quell quickly.
Okay, so what kind of breed is this again?
Well, this is a New Hampshire Red.
Which is different than a Rhode Island
Red. Yeah, Rhode Island Reds were developed in the 1880s or 1890s, at the end of the 19th century, and they are much darker, more mahogany red. And the New Hamps grew out of those, and they were recognized in 1935 or the mid-30s. They're actually considered to be a little more vigorous. They're slightly larger than Rhode Island Reds.
Okay.
And very, very good egg layers. So that's how they kind of became their own breed.
Okay.
I love what you've done with the little coop. It looks so good.
Yes, my husband designed this, and we tried to use as many reclaimed items as we could. I love to find old doors and old windows, and we had a stash of them, and we thought, well, why not work the design around those and
just
put them to
assemble
use?
them together. So you have a screen door, you have a French door.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks really good.
A lot of the materials for the coop came off the side of the road. I wanted a coop that was going to be tall enough where I could get in there and clean it out without having to stoop over, so I can stand up inside there. And I just kind of measured everything and laid it out and figured out how I could maximize using materials that I already had and not spend a lot of money.
I'm usually the one who takes care of chickens, and I really like the chickens. And everyone else had a lot of chores to do because we weren't that old at one time. So I had to come outside and take care of the chickens in the morning and put them up in the evening and refill their water and their food and check for eggs and all that stuff that you have to do.
Growing up in the country like I did, it was really important to me to get the kids involved, teach them responsibility for the animals, responsibility for the land, and it's worked out great. They really embraced it and really do a great job staying on top of things. I don't even have to remind them to go close the chicken coop most nights. It's already taken care of.
There's one there.
You're going to be our active one, I can tell.
Yeah, just aren't their feathers beautiful?
They're gorgeous.
There you go, girl. Okay.
All right, looks like they're settling in.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Excellent. I like your bedding in here. These wood shavings are really good because when the droppings fall into them, they dry up. The droppings dry up. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes,
Yeah.
that's my husband picked all of the bedding. He did a lot of research. He really, when we start a project, we spend a lot of time researching it first.
That's good.
I'm more of the jump in kind, but luckily he's more of the researcher.
Nathan's very methodical.
He is very methodical, so
Well,
we're
I love that
not gonna
about
do
him.
it. Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming out
You're
and bringing us
welcome.
the hints.
Yeah,
and
anytime. Just let me
so-
know, and if I can help, just reach out to me, and I'll drop by from time to time and just see how things are going.
That would be wonderful. We'd love to have you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
You bet. You know, there's some real benefits to giving back. One, it just makes you feel good. Secondly, you can have an effect that can go for generations. Now think about this. If you influence a little kid to get excited about gardening and it brings them joy their entire lives, well, that's a very meaningful thing to do. So I'm here at the Little Rock Preparatory Academy, and we have some kindergartners, first graders, second graders, third and fourth, and they are full of enthusiasm about gardening. Come on in. Are y'all excited about growing a garden? All right. Y'all have an awesome school here. I'm so excited about helping you with your garden. Is everybody here going to help us with that garden? Are you sure? I didn't hear you. I'm not sure. What'd you say? All right.
Little Rock Prep is a school, a charter school. We serve children from underserved communities, so that maybe they may have gone to a school in an area that maybe the resources around them weren't very good. And we take them where they are, and we try to move them up and put them on a college preparatory track. Planting things just in the garden it translates into growing things in your life and expanding into your community, being a part of something that's growing. So this is really what we're doing by utilizing this garden to do it. It's going to be a teachable moment for our students. There are science connections, there are writing connections, there are PE and health connections that can all intermingle and help us, you know, just by the use of the garden.
Take the plant out the pot and get the weeds out of the dirt. Then you gotta put your plant in the dirt. Make sure you cover it up around with dirt, but don't get it up on top of the plant, because then the plant can't breathe and it won't grow. I like gardening and it's so fun. We get to dig dirt and get all the weeds out, and we get to, and P. Allen Smith gets to help us plant rosemary, and I just had so much fun.
I really enjoy being in the garden. It's really therapeutic for me, so I decided why not. So now this is my Saturdays, and I have enjoyed every bit of it. The early mornings, the cold weather, the hot days. It's been my thing so far. You know, it keeps me motivated to watch him learn some things for me. He'll dig in the dirt alongside me, so digging holes and figuring out how to put seeds in the ground is pretty much what's interesting to him right now. But I think the more we do it together and the more time he spends out here with me, he'll learn exactly what it is. and what it is to have a garden and watch it grow, because there's a real sense of reward at the end once you get to see everything bloom and you get to taste it, and it's a part of your day-to-day.
We are located in downtown Little Rock. We're in the Governor's Mansion area. We have about 276 at our primary school, 276 students. So we're excited about that because the school started initially as a middle school, and I think it was about 64 students. So we're really growing.
Hey, if you're into cute of all kinds, this is the place to be. You are so adorable.
We are at the spring show, the spring livestock show here on the state fairgrounds. 4-H and FFA youth here, they have brought the rabbits in. We're gonna talk just a minute before we start. I love it, I love the kids. And the kids that are here, they are our future farmers, they are our future business leaders.
What kind of rabbit is he?
A dwarf hotel.
What do you feed him?
This is food we buy from the Tractor Supply.
Do you take care of him?
Yes.
You have to feed and water him, and uh-oh, he's sneaking out.
No. I've had rabbits all my life.
That is great. Tell me about this breed. Is that a little chinchilla?
Chinchilla mini satin.
A mini satin. And why is it called a mini satin? Because of the hair color and the texture of the hair?
It is the texture, it's not the color.
Oh, I see.
And it's a girl, and its name is Polly Pocket because she usually rides in my pocket.
Polly Pocket, my holder?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Look at her. She's tiny. Is she full grown?
Nope.
Oh, she's a baby.
Yeah, she's only 1 month.
She's really calm. How long have you been raising rabbits?
Since I was about 2.
Since you were 2? Heavens, how did you get involved in raising rabbits?
My sisters had them when they were young.
Oh, it's like, if they get rabbits, I want rabbits. And what are some of the characteristics that you think the judge saw about this particular rabbit that gave him a blue ribbon?
In this one, they look for them. They're actually supposed to see if they can fit in a Pringles can. In this
Really?
breed. Yeah. And they
So
look.
they're a really long, narrow rabbit when they stretch out. Through a Pringles can.
Yeah.
I saw earlier in the show one of the ladies who works here as a judge actually had an apron on and had some Himalayans in the aprons. They were just like laid back, so easy going. It was really hilarious. Now, is this your first rabbit show?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty good. The judge just went through and did the judging, and you got 4th place. That's pretty good for a first-timer.
If they want to, they can contact the Arkansas State Fairgrounds. They can look on the internet or the American Rabbit Breeders Association, look on the internet and see what breed they'd like. All they have to do is call. If some of the kids here in the state don't have it, we will find it for them.
Hey, are you curious about how to design a room for a teenage girl? Well, I was too. This room actually turned out to be one of my favorite rooms in the whole house. And believe it or not, it's the room that I thought, well, I'm gonna have the most trouble with because it's for a teenage girl, my niece, Laura. She loves purple, and that's really all I had to go on. So let me give you the basics of the room. The room dimensions are just 10.5 by 12.5. And what I wanted to do is to honor her interest in purple. And so for the ceiling, we went with a color called Nosegay. And on the walls, we went with a color called Spring Iris. Now the trim color in this room is the same as we've used throughout the house. It's Snow White. Before we get into some of the details and decor, a lot of the fun stuff, I want to talk about a couple of challenges in this room. The roof line comes down at roughly a 45-degree angle here, and so we had to arrange the furniture such that it worked with this. So this made the perfect place for positioning a desk and a chair over here, sort of a writing station, a place to do homework and so forth on this north wall. We have 8-foot ceilings, standard height, but I really wanted to use this antique bed. I just think adding an antique in a room just gives it, I don't know, sort of a richness, gives it soul. And this is a great old bed. It actually came from Natchez, Mississippi, out of a plantation house. It's called a pineapple bed. It's called this because of the pineapple motif that is carved into the posts of the beds. So I wanted to use this. I love the deep, dark mahogany color. And I thought the contrast of this piece to, well, these very light colors on the walls would make this really the focal point in the room. And I think we achieved that. You know, if you design a room for a teenage girl, sometimes it helps to get another perspective. I called on my friend Rebecca Robeson. She's from California, and she has a great following because she's a great designer. She does a lot of work with young girls and help them design their rooms. We threw around some ideas in this room, and it was a great help to get her perspective.
And I like it with all the other things that are in this color palette, but I just don't think it's as fun. And then this kind of thing could go on it even?
Right. Yeah, that was the idea.
It seems like the scale of it is beefier
It is better, stronger.
Yeah, and next to that air conditioner, which by the way feels real good right here.
It's perfect. I don't know, Rebecca, I really like it.
I do too.
It came together.
It did.
Yeah, without a lot of push, you know?
Well, you got a lot of great pieces, and that's
well,
what helps
thanks.
us.
Yeah, you know, you've got to sort of collect the stuff over time with a kind of theme in mind, don't you think?
Right. And even then, be flexible
Right.
as you were. Yeah, I think it turned out good.
Let's just pat each other on the back.
You're an amazing designer.
Well, right back at you.
Oh, good job.
I don't know about you, but I like to have my own space where I can relax, do some painting, or even sit around and read. Kids are no different, and my friend Toby Fairley has some ideas on how to give kids their own space.
The first thing I think about when I think about a family-friendly space is what kind of activities are we going to do in there? I mean, you know, we want to watch TV, we want to read books. So you need several different zones usually. You need some layered lighting, some task lighting for games, and maybe then some, you know, lower, more cozy lighting if you want to cuddle up and watch TV or read a book. So there's a lot of things that go into it. So things change when you get to a kid's bedroom because that's where you want to be a little more personal and you want the kid to be involved. Ellison's pretty lucky that she is the only child that lives here, so she gets 2 spaces all to herself. Lots of things can happen in that space, and really we can all be in there at the same time. Dad can be laying on the sofa watching TV while we're in there doing an art project or something, and we get to feel, you know, like we're together for quality time. And this was an older house that we moved into, so it's like a 70s era house, and there were some great built-ins already in the space, and I didn't tear them out. We painted them hot pink so they would have a lot of personality and put storage bins inside. So that's a great way to help kids stay organized, help them be a part of cleaning up. So if I was gonna give parents my top 3 tips for having a great kids room, it would be these. Number 1, use paint to have a good time. Paint is one of the least expensive things you can use in a room, and you can use it for a pop of color, you can paint a fun pattern on the wall, so don't be afraid to have fun with paint. Number 2, use durable fabrics. That's a great way to get some pattern in the room with fabric, but you can also rest easy that they're not going to get damaged. If you think of using things like vinylized fabrics or things that are in darker colors so you're not going to see stains, or maybe bright colors so they add personality. And number 3, really let kids personalize their space, especially their own room. You know, it's their room and they need to be able to enjoy it, feel like it's really theirs, and make it their own. So find a couple of zones that they can really make their own.
Hey, thanks for spending time with me today. I hope you enjoyed some of the fun ideas we shared. I love reading your comments on my Facebook page, so keep them coming. Now it's a great time to go wind down with a nice tall glass of milk and some cookies.
Oh, and before I forget, make sure you check out my Pinterest page for more ideas that are great for kids. Until next time, for The Garden Home, I'm Alan Smith. I can see over here you've got your worm composting going on.
We do. We have this, we do a lot of cooking here at home, so we have a lot of scraps.
Yeah, sure.
And it seems wasteful just to put them down the disposal in the kitchen. So we have started this worm composting system.
Feed them to the worms.
Feed them to the worms.
You have a worm ranch here on the farm.
We do.
If you like to eat broccoli, raise your hand. Do you like to grow broccoli? Raise your hand. Everybody likes to grow broccoli. That's great. Oh, you don't? I heard somebody say they did. Okay. You can grow onions.